All right, in my series about talking about auctions, first thing, the reason I'm doing this is to give you current experiences I've had with online auctions, and in this video, we're going to discuss actual auction companies, okay, or auctioneers that do this for a living. Some of them only auction guns, some of them have auctions with guns in them. Then like next month they'd be auctioning farm equipment or something. But these are basically larger companies that you can run into. Now, I don't mean the gun broker. The gun broker and gun auction are gun auction websites. They're not auctioneers. Okay, there's a difference. So I'm going to break this down into the large online, live, and timed auctions. I'm going to talk about the gun broker and gun auction sites in a separate video, pros and cons and how to maneuver in them. Then your local auctions that are in your area, something you can drive to within an hour or two or something like that. And truthfully, the last one, at least years ago, I'm finding out now that the auction situation has changed. That's why I'm making this video. That's where I made some of my biggest scores and bargains, was with the local small auctions. Okay, but the whole scene has changed. And as we all know, when we go to look for certain pieces of Milsurp guns for our collection, it's getting more and more difficult to find them. The days of just going to a website and getting a batch in, be it Swiss rifles, they're still available, or other guns. Some of these guns, that's never going to happen. So you must go and find them, either at auctions, local sales, flea market maybe, gun shows. Like I said, the gun shows are getting tough. The prices are high, and and this is why the prices are high, because I'm going to explain it to you. It's difficult to acquire. There's competition, there's demand, and people are willing to pay. Okay, that's just the bottom line. You can say it's too much and all this other stuff, but that's how it goes. So, and also, if you could, hit the like button, subscribe, and if you really like the content and it helps you, there's two options for support. You could either become a member of the channel, okay, or Patreon, either one. So let's go. We're looking at large auction companies. It'd be like Rock Island Auctions in Illinois is probably the biggest one and the one that is most famous. And when they run gun auctions, I mean, they have 3 days, thousands of lots. And there's anything and everything. They've auctioned off guns that belong to past presidents and everything else. So you got Rock Island Auctions. There's this small one I was in, Echoes of Glory is one. They have regular, mostly all Milsurp auctions. There's Morpheus Auctions, which is a lot of high-end stuff, a lot of antiques. I bid on a lot of antique guns with that auction house. Let me think, Carol Watson. There are several of them that are pretty famous, and these are actually auctioneers, okay? And there's two ways this is run. They will go on something like liveauction.com or ProxyBid or something, and you'll find these auctions listed. Now, they will open up the catalog, usually a few weeks prior to, or more, to the actual auction going on in their building, okay? And it'll give you a time in that. And you can pre-bid. Say you find a rifle you like, and with all the premiums and stuff, you only want to pay $500, or say I'll go $550 the most. You can put a pre-bid in a 550, okay, and don't even worry about going to the auction. They'll send you a notification if you win or not. And I've seen where some people have done this in the last few auctions I participated in. They opened it up to the floor, nobody on the floor bid, nobody online bid, and whatever that bidder had their pre-bid, that bid stuck. Not all of them, but a few of them. Because I guess the person just bid high enough and he doesn't have to sit through the auction. And that's another thing. If you're in the live auction, there's 700 lots, and if you want a lot that's 400 or 500, you got to sit there for some hours or turn it on, leave, come back, and keep track of it, and then you can bid. I do like live bidding, okay? So that's one thing. Now there's another thing called the timed auction. Works the same way. This Echoes of Glory that I got involved in, I didn't quite understand it. What they do is 2 weeks for the auction, like on a Saturday, they open up pre-bid, and you can bid and keep track of it. Somebody outbids you, you can bid more. And then when the auction actually starts, start at noon, how it works is every 2 minutes, 2 lots close, okay? So there's no auctioneer, there's no button, or you can click the button in the pre-bid box. So when the time comes, and they got a timer running, and it goes red when it's in the last 2 minutes. So say you're looking at a gun, somebody put a $350 bid on, you go $360. And if you do that in the last 2 minutes, it automatically restarts that clock for 2 minutes. Okay? And then hopefully the 2 minutes expires and you win, or if somebody outbids you another $10 or something, the clock goes again. And that's how it is. That's a little tricky. You got to pay attention to that shit. And if it's going on, or they had reserves, and if they don't hit the reserves, they go to the top of the list and they'll just keep running. And if people bid or stop bidding, and after a certain time, if they don't hit the reserve, they pull the item. They'll say item pulled from auction. Okay, and that's the difference between the live bidding and timed. Okay, live bidding is like you're there watching it on your computer or phone, like if you're in the audience. It's just when you hit your button, you know, that's when you bid. Pros of going to these auctions, you may find a wider selection, and depending on what auction house, you may find some unusual, hard to find things that you're looking for in your collection. The con of it is you're going to pay, okay, and pay a lot. I didn't realize how it was, because I'd say 12 to 15 years ago, I used to bid on a lot of these auctions. Okay, and I did make out, and I got some stuff at a fairly reasonable price, maybe a little bit higher than you'd find at a gun show or something, $100 here or more, because of all the fees and the shipping. But it wasn't disproportionate, okay, it wasn't totally outrageous. So, what has changed in, say, the past 12 years in my recent experience here doing this? Well, number one, in the past, if you were out of state, you weren't charged sales tax. And even locally, a lot of these small country auctioneers or whatever, you weren't charged sales tax. Okay? Now, everyone is charged sales tax. And I found out that the hammer price says $500, then you put in, I'll give you the numbers, you put in your commission of 21% or something. I always thought we're getting charged sales tax on what the hammer, no. You're getting charged sales tax on the bid and the premium. I didn't expect that. Also, shipping has gone up ridiculously. Okay, where I just got clipped for each firearm. Usually most of the big places would put 2 similar firearms in a bit larger box. The boxes have room, and charge you, say if it was $50 or something shipping, they charge you $75 or something to have the two of them together. Nope. 2 guns, 2 separate boxes, shipping $68 each. So yeah. Okay, even though I thought I was making out with a lower premium and all this other stuff, no, I got burned. So what do you look out for? Well, some of the auction places also, if they don't give you a description of the bore, photographs is one thing. Some of them only have 1 photo, or 2 or 3 basic photos far away from the weapon, or a close-up of markings or something. But you have to be careful there. If they don't give you a description, you know, a written description, like in this condition, no cracks in the wood, or whatever, bore is good, you know, has some rifling, or bore is dark with notice, you know. Some of them give you a description. Beware the ones that it's just 1 picture or 2 pictures of a rifle or gun and in good condition, or in very good condition, and it's just a sentence. Kind of be leery, because you don't really know what you're getting, and yes, sometimes you can get screwed. But on the other hand, sometimes they don't know what the item is, and they'll misclassify it or misname the wrong model or something, and they can have something they're saying is a more common gun, and they don't know what you're talking about, and have a bit rarer gun, and if people ain't paying attention, you can make out from their mistake for something that is not given the correct nomenclature or type or whatever. And I've seen some, you know, it could be typographical errors. Sometimes they come back and correct them, sometimes they don't. All right. So that's about the only way you're going to make out. That and who is at the auction. Okay. And I'm finding, I truly believe what a lot of people do, and that's why it's becoming more competitive in these auctions. Instead of driving around like I used to, 2 hours to one gun show 1 month, hour and a half to another one, you know, to 45 minutes to this one, and you drive and you pay the money and you go around and there's nothing or anything, you know, that you're even gonna buy. You're better off saving your money, sitting here at the house, sitting in front of a computer screen, and going that way to look for new pieces for your collection. Okay? And it's tough. And, you know, yeah, I was looking for something, okay, and I went after it. I just didn't go to one auction and do it. Okay, I participated in 2 or 3 and looking at what the prices were going on other venues and what people were asking for this particular gun. And I seen a trend where it was at this one price point, way higher than I like it, but that was about the going rate. Okay, so that is what I participated in and went and did it. And I'll give you the numbers breakdown. Hopefully I won't get burned. I am not trying to sell anything or anything like that. I'm just going to give you a comparison and tell you what I ended up paying for a few of these auctions. Alright, we're going to go with the simple one. And how this worked, I went a little bit overboard. I was in 2 or 3 other auctions, and actually for a very similar piece to hit the bid price of around 6. Okay, so after 2 or 3 other auctions where I didn't succeed, I pulled the trigger and said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. So I went $630 for the bid. Okay, now with the premium of 19.25%, that added $121.28 to it. So that $630 bid at this point became $751.28. Okay. Now, we go down here, and handling fee, $10. Shipping, $60, which that's going to be about the standard for a long gun. Okay? So nothing there. Then sales tax. Alright? So the sales tax come out, and that's where I got confused because I know the rates they're charging. The sales tax was not for the 630, it was for the whole 751. And that added another $56.79. Okay? So $878 paid with everything all together, my $630 bid, and add the $25 transfer fee comes out to about $903. Okay? And total cost for a bid of $630. Okay? So I went to another auction house and said, let me see how this looks. And again, this was 2 items. One was 6 on the nose, the other 425. So I said, hey, I made out. Now, they're just a straight premium, irregardless of what you're doing, of 15%. So I said, okay, this is where I found this place. And I said, let me see how that works out. Okay? So they put the tally of all your hammer prices and your internet premium. So it's like for one it was 90 and the other one 63.75. Miscellaneous charges, none. Shipping was blank. Processing fee. Okay, they kind of omitted this processing fee. All right, which was $53.85, whatever the hell that is, and then the sales tax was $86.30. Okay, so now we kind of are up there to $13.18. So I'm like, okay. So, and what they do now is this part, you pay that first. So once you pay that, they'll ask you, are you coming here to pick this up? And you say no. And they said, okay, get your FFL information, or if it's CNR, send your CNR to us. And these guns were CNR eligible. And they go, okay, and then it's going to go to our shipping department. So here I am figuring, all right, some of the larger auction houses, the boxes are quite big enough that you can carefully pack with bubble wrap or something 2 guns in the box. So I'm figuring, they ain't going to grab me 60 and 60. And I was right. They charged me $136.33 in shipping. So it was $68 each item. So, as you see, this is quite expensive. I got the things I wanted, okay. Kind of really didn't get them at the price point I wanted with all the add-ons, alright. So how do you look at this? Yes, I did pay way too much for the 3 items, okay, but in the past, and you can ask any seasoned collector, you've seen something, you figured it was a little on the expensive side, okay, or too much, more than what you wanted to pay, okay, say 18, 20 years ago. And there were a few pieces that I picked up that I thought I was paying too much for. Well, 15 years later, guess what? It'd be very easy to sell them and then make some on it. So you kind of have to look at it that way. And if you really believe, like I said with the French Mas 36 rifle, I remember buying them for $75. I've seen one in one of these auctions go for $600. So you're looking at guy's going to pay $600. He's going to pay $800 and some in the end for that gun. All right. To me, it's too much. I have one. All right. And the reason I got it was to test ammo. So wasn't really as per a collector's item or something, but just a neat gun to have. But to go that far, I don't know. Now, if I was 20 years old and going to keep the thing till I was at least 40 or 50 years old, you know, maybe it's not a bad thing. I don't know. Okay. But that's my experience with these auction houses. It's rugged, and you will find a piece for your collection. Like I said, very rarely do they screw up, or you just don't have participation in an auction. You can get lucky and somebody's just not there willing to put a bid up either online or on the floor, and you can pick something up fairly cheap. Okay, you know, or at least reasonable, about 20% less than what the going rate is, maybe 15. You never know. But they are a way to find out, know what you're doing, know the company. Like I said, I didn't realize all these fees were there. Like this one company, oh, we only got a 15% commission. And I said, oh, hell yeah. But I have no idea what that $58 charge is for. Miscellaneous or whatever, handling charge. I have no idea. All right, so they're kind of misrepresenting the line. So, you know, you're going to look at the going rates like 22 or 20. Some of them are 28. One auction was 28% commission, internet charges. Then, if you pay with a credit card and they grab you another 3.5%, 4% for that, okay, that's another hidden fee. So, well, that's my experience with it, guys. I hope this video helped you out. I'm going to go in and next one I make, we'll talk about local auctions and how they ran. And I haven't been to one in years. So really, I don't have the experience of what goes on. But I went to one a few enough years ago that I can tell you, because there was a lot of desirable military firearms in there, in these things. It was the estate of somebody, a local collector, and he had some really high-end pieces in his collection. So that'll be in the next video. Okay, hit the like button and stay tuned.